They were the last of their kind, a brother and sister bonded by love in a world that had turned cold and unforgiving. And their tale began not in a palace of stone, but in the sanctuary of a whispering wood. The whisper wood was ancient, its roots entwined with secrets older than time. Here, among the emerald canopies and sun-dappled glades, lived Alara and Arion, children of the Moonweaver clan, ethereal elves whose very essence danced with starlight. Their skin was the color of alabaster, kissed by the soft glow of twilight. Their eyes, pools of liquid silver, held the wisdom of ages. Their hair flowed like spun moonlight, cascading down their backs in silvery waves. Ever since they could remember, Alara and Arion roamed the Whisperwood, chasing fireflies in twilight's embrace, their laughter echoing through ancient oaks. Their bond was as intricate as the forest itself, as deep and enduring as the roots that anchored the oldest trees. Alara, the elder by a mere whisper of a year, possessed a gentleness that belied her strength, a voice that could soothe the wild spirits of the wood, and a heart that carried the burdens of her people. Arion, on the other hand, was the embodiment of the forest's untamed grace. His spirit soared through the whisperwood like the wind, his movements as fluid as sunlight dancing on leaves. His bow sang with deadly accuracy, and his heart burned with the fierce loyalty of the Moonweaver's moon. Yet despite their differences, they were two halves of a whole, their love as eternal as the starlight that dusted the forest floor. But the tranquility of the Whisperwood was not destined to last. Beyond their haven, a darkness stirred, casting long shadows over the once vibrant land. Whispers of fear sneaked through the ancient trees, rustling the leaves with tales of a sorcerer named Malcor, whose heart had turned as cold as the northern wastes. Malcor, driven by a thirst for power, had banished the sun from the skies of the northern wasteland, plunging it into an eternal winter. Creatures of shadow and ice surged from the frozen north, leaving naught but death and despair in their wake. As the darkness crept closer, the elders of the Moonweaver clan prepared for the worst. Evacuation was impossible. The Whisperwood was their home, their life source, and they would defend it to their last breath. Thus began the long night of defense, a testament to courage and despair. Alara and Arion, now young adults, fought valiantly alongside their people. Elora's voice, wreathed in moonlight, wove protective spells over her kin, while Arion, a whirlwind of silver and moonlight, fought with the ferocity of a cornered wolf, his arrows finding their marks with deadly precision. Yet despite their valor, the tide of battle slowly turned. The creatures of shadow and ice were relentless, their numbers seemingly endless. One by one, the Moonweavers fell, their life essence drained by the encroaching darkness, their bodies left as lifeless dolls in the chilling grip of night. Fear gnawed at the remaining Moonweavers. The Whisperwood, once their sanctuary, echoed with the wails of the dying. Hope, like a flickering candle, threatened to be snuffed out by the encroaching darkness. In the darkest hours, when the forest floor was littered with fallen comrades and the sky was choked with the stench of decay, Alara and Arion made a choice that echoed with the finality of a death knell. With the Whisperwood on the brink of annihilation, they decided to flee, carrying with them the last embers of hope. Their escape was fraught with peril, a desperate flight through the teeth of the encroaching darkness. They dodged the icy grasp of shadow creatures, outran blizzards that sought to freeze their very souls, and slipped past Malcor's relentless patrols. As the northern wastes claimed more and more of the Whisperwood, they journeyed deeper and deeper into the frozen wasteland. The once vibrant woods gave way to skeletal trees, their branches clawing at the leaden sky. The air grew colder, more desolate with each step. At last, when the memory of the Whisperwood was little more than a fading dream, they stumbled upon a frozen lake nestled between snow-covered hills. It was here, in this desolate beauty, that they made camp, huddling together for warmth against the biting winds of the north. As the days bled into nights, They subsisted on meager rations, their hope dwindling like the last embers of a dying fire. Yet they clung to each other, finding solace in their shared grief and determination. For even in the heart of the frozen wastelands, the bonds of love and family endured. Meanwhile, Malkor, sensing their flight, unleashed his full might. Creatures of shadow and ice surged forward, their eyes burning with the promise of death. Alara and Arion, battered but unbroken, prepared for the inevitable. But as the creatures of the darkness closed in, a glimmer of hope pierced through the gloom. A small band of warriors, cloaked in the colors of the rising sun, burst from the tree line, driving back Malkor's vanguard. These were the Sun Spears, an order of warriors dedicated to banishing the encroaching darkness. Led by a woman with hair like spun gold and eyes that blazed with the spirit of the rising sun, they carved a path through Malkor's forces, reaching Alara and Arion. "Come with us," the golden-haired warrior called, her voice ringing with authority. "We will help you reclaim your home." Together, they rallied what remained of the Moonweavers and the Sun Spears, launching a desperate counterattack. The battle raged, a maelstrom of light and darkness, hope and despair. Alara's voice rang out, weaving protective spells as Arion fought with the fury of a cornered wolf, his arrows singing their death song. In the end, it was Alara who delivered the decisive blow, channeling the combined strength of the Moonweavers into a single, blinding blast of moonlight. The blast struck Malkor, throwing him off balance. And in that instant, Arion let loose an arrow imbued with the spirit of the rising sun. The arrow found its mark, piercing Malkor's heart and banishing him and his darkness back into the frozen waste from whence he came. Victorious but weary, they turned their attention to the wounded. Many of the Moonweavers had perished, but there were still survivors. Alara and Arion, tending to their fallen comrades, feeling the weight of their loss acutely. The Whisperwood was theirs again, but it was a hollow victory. Gone were the carefree days of their youth, replaced by the harsh realities of survival. The Elves, though grateful for their victory, were shaken to their core. The Whisperwood, once their sanctuary, was now a battleground, a stark reminder of their fragility. In the face of such profound loss and uncertainty, Alara and Arion drew closer than ever before. They rebuilt their homes, piece by piece, tending to the wounded, and whispered stories of their fallen comrades to keep their memories alive. Their love, forged in the fires of adversity, shone like a beacon, guiding their people through the long road to recovery. And as the Whisperwood slowly came back to life, they knew they were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead together.